Rossburg, Ohio isn't home to many people. In fact, only 187 live here. But if you love dirt late model racing, if you live dirt late model racing, at least 1 weekend a year, it is home to all of us.
I walk this road, it takes me home where skies are blue. I walk this road because I know it leads to you. No matter when, no matter what, I have a place to go.
From the moment you crest the hill on Highway 118, you see your first camper. There's a hint of fall in the September air. Everything about it feels familiar. It feels nostalgic. You know that not only so many of your own personal great racing memories have happened here, but so many of the country's great racing moments have happened here. How is it possible that you can only come here once a year and somehow you've never been more comfortable anywhere?
It's just in the middle of nowhere. You go through these two little small towns and then you're just going, and all of a sudden here's this huge coliseum that's just, I think, the greatest place on earth.
There ain't no place in America that is more awesome to come to here is to sit here and look out and see all these wonderful people.
It's called the world, but it feels a lot more local than that. The campfires, the friendships, the stories, the kitchen table feeling that you get. It may belong to an entire sport, but you can't help but feel like it's all yours at the exact same time. And in a way it is. Eldora and the World 100 speak to each one of us individually. Personal memories, something year after year that never lets you down. It's vacation, and it's your own front door all in one place.
24 the best. That's the best place to race Eldora Speedway. Here they come. It could be anybody's race.
I just love these late models, especially the ones we got here tonight.
We all have a home track, and we all travel to various events across America, but none of them feel like this. This sense that at some point in time, this is where you're supposed to be. Every conversation about the sport that we've had all year, every moment that's occurred from speed weeks to the heat of the summer, leads up to this one night, this one weekend in September.
There's absolutely nothing in a sport like the World 100.
Every time I just think about it, I get cold chills thinking about the place. I love that place.
That's never changed in almost 50 years now, I guess.
For the 55th time, we all go home again this weekend. Maybe there'll be another 06. Maybe 21 will do it for the 7th time. Maybe one of the kids of one of the legends will pull up their seat to the kitchen table and we'll be telling stories about them one day. Maybe. Maybe. You don't live here, but you are from here. We all are. Welcome home to the World 100.
Eldora and the World 100 what it is.
You know, when I started Dirt on Dirt back in 2007, I was on the road literally over 225 days a year. It was a non-stop grind building a company, telling the stories of the dirt late model world. It really was a travel tornado, a whirlwind that never really stopped. Fast forward 18 years, and I'm not traveling near as much as I once was. My duties as general manager of FloRacing don't allow for that. But there is one event that I will not miss no matter the circumstance. The race that not only defines the gold standard for what it means to be a dirt late model driver, but the event that my mom took me to for the first time all the way back in 1992, and one that I have not missed since. The granddaddy of them all, the one and only, the World 100. You see this picture from my mom and all the way back when I was 10 years old in 1992. I've got the John Gill hat on with a bill flipped up. And through the years, Eldora has meant so much to me. Multiple pictures with Earl Baltus in the John Gill shirt you see there as well. And another with Earl in the water truck. I am Michael Rigsby coming to you from our FloRacing and Dirt on Dirt studios in Bloomington, Illinois. And it is officially World 100 week. And for the 18th year in a row, we bring you our World 100 preview video cast as we have every single year since 2007. We have a massive 90 minutes coming up. Our media roundtable where our team of experts give you their take on the biggest race in all of dirt late model racing. And also, by the way, defending World 100 champion and number one dirt late model driver in the country, Bobby Pierce, will join us, where we not only talk Eldora, but I'm going to make him answer a question of, you ready for this? Are you the most talented driver to ever sit behind the wheel of a dirt late model? I'm going to ask him that, and I'm going to see if he answers it. Stick around to find out and see what he says. And then Randy Weaver, who will be our pit reporter, of course, next week at Eldora, will join us as well to wrap things up as America's favorite pit reporter. I don't want my other guys to hear me say that. Has some rather interesting takes on this year's chase for the globe. A very important thing to keep in mind, there is only one place, one singular place, one right there that you can watch the World 100 live all 3 nights. Kind of nice to have a 3-night World 100 this year, if I'm being honest. A Thursday, Friday, Saturday, no Wednesday FloRacing night in America. And that one place to watch it live is right here at FloRacing. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, both prelims on Thursday and Friday. And then your traditional World 100 Saturday night, and it is this year for $72,000 to win, which I'll touch on in a second, but watch it all live right here on FloRacing. You know, it dawned on me while I interview all of the other guys coming up in our media roundtable about major Eldora races, I don't always take the opportunity to really tell you how I feel about things during these video casts. So I'm going to do that now. Some Rigsby World 100 thoughts. I just mentioned, you know, the big thing with the World 100 forever was traditionally it went up $1,000 a year, right? It was $29,000 to win, and then $30,000 to win, and $31,000 and $32,000. But they made the jump this year in honor of the 72nd anniversary of the racetrack. This year's World 100 pays $72,000 to the winner. Levi Jones and Jonathan Bateman thought, you know what? It's time to get in line a little more with some of these other major race purses that are being paid out there. So I like that. They jumped it all the way up to $72,000. Speaking of that purse growth, you know, I think there's been some online conjecture here lately. Everyone talks about the Knoxville Sprint Car Nationals, which rightfully so, hat tip to Knoxville for the money that they pay without question. But the World 100 purse is nothing to sneeze at. Here's some numbers for you, right? 2013, the purse for the World 100, which was the first year of the Twin 25s, back in 2013, the first year they went to the split fields, $283,000 was the total 3-day purse for the World 100 in 2013. 2 years later, they jumped it all the way up to $318,000. This year, keep in mind, $283,000 back in 2013. In 2025, $621,000. So it is over 3x what it was 12 years ago, and it will continue to go up. Could it be like Knoxville? Maybe one day, but I don't want people to think that Eldora's purse is not good. It's $621,000 paid out over 3 days. That's nearly triple what it was 12 years ago. Another thought I had somebody say to me in the pits recently at a race, the World 100 is a clear 2-horse race, 32 and 49. I think that's probably right. I think those guys are the top tier, right? Like if you're doing these in tiers, nod to my guy Bill Simmons, who does his quarterback tiers and his basketball player tiers. I think 32 and 49 are the clear top tier, but I think 20 RT, I think Ricky Thornton Jr. occupies an entire tier by himself, is the next guy in line. He's ahead of Devin. He's ahead of Hudson, I think. Now, we are recording this on the Friday of Hillbilly 100 weekend, so maybe, who knows, right? Maybe somebody could go out there and sweep Hillbilly 100 weekend, and I could change my tune a little bit, but right now I've got 32 and 49 at the clear top tier of contenders for the World 100, 20 RT on the next tier by himself, and then I think you get into that 71 and 99 in the next group. And one last thing I wanted to say from our perspective, we, no doubt about it and no secret, we cover the World 100 unlike any other event that we cover. And I think it's for good reason. It is just so baked into the DNA of who we are here at Dirt on Dirt and FloRacing. Remember, we launched dirtondirt.com, which in essence would become FloRacing and be the fuel that is FloRacing, was Dirt on Dirt. We launched it on September 4th of 2007. And my wife Amber and I and Todd Turner, where did we launch it? No other place than Eldora. So I wanted to show this short clip just to show you how baked into the DNA our website and websites are to the World 100 in Eldora. Play that for me, Jeff.
Sit back and relax and enjoy our week-long coverage from the Big E. And most importantly, welcome to dirtondirt.com.
Is a very young Michael Rigsby, all the way back in 2007, 25 years old when we had launched Dirt on Dirt. I drove up there the weekend before the World 100 to record that opening video. We launched our entire company in the hallowed ground of Eldora. So when people ask all the time, like, well, you seem to cover this more than you cover anything else, it's just baked into the DNA of who we are. And I wanted to show that clip as a reminder. That was the very first video that ever aired on Dirt all the way back in September 4th of 2007. Like I said, a lot coming up in the next 90 minutes. Our media roundtable is next, and Bobby Pierce joins us after that to preview the World 100. But first, one of the great traditions, it's media roundtable time. We start as we always do with my guy, Ben Shelton. And Ben, I wanted to start by saying this. I am sorry that I called Randy Weaver America's favorite pit reporter. I am sorry about that. I only half meant it. I want to be clear. I started this way at the Dream, and I had fans tell me how much they loved it, so I wanted to do it again. I'm going to do this with all of you guys. Give me a fun statistic that's World 100 related as we head into the 55th running this weekend.
Well, first and foremost, Randy's a hell of a lot more likable than me, so I'll allow it. I'll take it, and I'd be upset if you didn't say it any other way. Yeah, I've got a fun fact here, but it's a bit of a mind twister, so buckle up. And I made some notes here because, hell, I'm probably going to get it wrong. It's kind of confusing since we ran the 51st World 100 before the 50th World back in 2021, thanks to COVID. So technically, even though a World 100 feature, which was won by Brandon Overton, was run between his wins, Jonathan Davenport was a back-to-back World 100 champ in the 49th and 50th editions. Before Davenport, though, the previous 21 World 100s didn't see a back-to-back winner. In fact, until you go back to 96, 97 when Donnie Moran did it. To me, it only seems appropriate. The granddaddy of all dirt late model races is unbelievably hard to win, especially in back-to-back years, especially over the past 2 decades.
I'm so glad you brought up the COVID 50, 54, 51, 50. Roger Slack, I still have nightmares about how we all situated that back in the day, but it was cool to have 2 World 100s in one weekend, so I'll let it slide. I said to start, I think that upper tier, Ben, is a 2-horse race, 32 and 49. Make a case for somebody else. Pretend that you totally disagree with me. Make a case for somebody other than those other 2.
Well, I relish in life at telling you that you're wrong, and it really hurts my feelings.
He does. He
you're
really
right,
does.
and I'm wrong. Ricky Thornton Jr. is going to get mad at me, and he'll probably go win the damn Hillbilly this weekend, both nights after this, for not saying him. But look, because his team's getting hot at the right time, but luck had been on his side at Eldora. In fact, in the past 5 editions of the World, he has a single top 5 finish. That was a 5th in 2022, and that's his best finish in 6 starts. I'm going to go with Huddy. I think Hudson O'Neal. I feel that team has found a nice balance over the past 4 or 5 months. Huddy won the 2023 World 100, and he always has speed there. And then clearly Jason Durham, look, he's won World 100s. He's been the crew chief for $1 million to win race that team won. I feel like they're a team that could show up, show out, and leave with that $72,000 World 100 check.
What is something that no one is talking about that they should be as we head into the World 100?
Maybe people are talking about it, some people, but I think more people should be. We really got a lot of energy, and at times maybe it's over the top too fun energy, controversy, momentum. It's all building into the dirt late model world as we go into the back half of this season. And I know we're actually in the back half of this season. We were hung up for a while where it seemed like races, especially on the national level, let's be honest, they were ho-hum and borderline status quo. Now we got guys coming from the 3rd, 4th, 5th deeper rows to win. You got memorable victory lane interviews. I'm looking at you, North-South 100, and an overall shot in the arm for our sport. It's been fair to publicly expose our sport when the excitement hasn't been there, but right now I feel like it's back, and we should be talking about that, and we should be proud about that.
Ben, I don't think anybody has been better, and I mean this very wholeheartedly. In the history of our entire sport, no one has been better than you at the moment, the moment the guy gets out of the car moment, the guy wins the race. No one's ever been better at you at capturing that moment. Through all these big races and all these years, you do such a good job, particularly at Eldora, of letting that moment be that moment. You're elite at it. So having said all that, when you're in that elite moment Saturday night at the World 100, who is it that you're going to be talking to who wins the 55th running?
You give me all these compliments so that I can probably get the answer wrong, because usually I do. Although I was the only one, I think, to pick Bobby Pierce last year at the World, and damn it, he won. Yeah. It's tough. The 22 is damn good, right? I mean, that's no big secret. He's the best guy in the country right now. But it's Eldora, and it's the 49, and he's got something special there. Until, I just feel like he showed it back at the Dream when a lot of people didn't think it was him. Jonathan Davenport's going to do it again on Saturday night, and he's going to tie Billy Moyer with 6 Globes atop the all-time list.
Did you ever think anybody would tie Billy Moyer with 6? Did you ever think that would happen?
No, I can remember looking back and being like, man, this Davenport guy could get to 3, or, maybe Scott will get to 5. But no, we never thought, and he's just getting started. Hey, if Pierce goes and grabs another one, he's at 3 pretty damn quick too. A lot of storylines.
All right, Ben, thanks, buddy. We'll see you at Eldora.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
From America's favorite or second favorite pit reporter, Ben or Randy Weaver, to America's favorite dirt late model rider, it's Kevin Kovac. KK, same start for you as Ben. Give me a very fun World 100 statistic, Kevin, as we start our video cast.
Okay, I'm going to maybe expand here a little bit on, Ben talked about how tough it is to win the World 100. And how about this? From 2002 to 2009, 8 straight first-time winners for the World 100. That's 8 straight guys, from Burkhofer to Sleeper to Chubb to McDowell, EPJ, Owens, Clanton, Hartman. That's 8 straight guys. Only 2 of those guys went on to win it again, actually. But since 2009, there's only been 4 first-time winners. Wow. I mean, Davenport has, made that not be a normal thing because he wins it so much. But in that time also, it's only been John Blankenship, Hudson O'Neal, and then the only back-to-back first-time winners, that there's been since that, Jonathan Davenport and Bobby Pierce in 15 and 16. I thought that was pretty neat.
Yeah, that is cool. And just to hear the name Blankenship be in there, right? And people forget. People forget some of these guys that have won the World 100, right? That are not the Davenports of the world. From your seat, Kevin, what are the top 3 storylines as we head into the World?
I think there's no doubt that, you've already mentioned it in your open, Bobby Pierce, Jonathan Davenport, being the last, the defending champion, the 5-time winner. So those guys also come in here not having raced against each other. Remember this, since the North-South 100, back in that one of those interviews in Victory
Dust
Lane.
Up there.
So there's a lot of anticipation of these two going at each other. And it's at Eldora where they are so good. Imagine if they do have a battle for the win, we could just extend that out from the North-South 100 from the middle of the race right to the end. That place would go insane. So, we could root for that as a story too. But another storyline, I feel like there's we talk about all these national guys, but I feel like there's a regional guy that's not a national tour for the first time in a while. I feel like really a younger guy, Josh Rice, coming into this with some good, really ballyhooed here. After winning that Dream prelim, $30,000 he won on that. He sold every T-shirt he had. I don't think he hasn't been able to keep T-shirts in stock since then. So how important it is, how much popularity he got from winning that. And I think all eyes will be on Josh Rice coming into the World 100 this year. And then one more, it's like, I don't think this is a new thing, but I feel like it should be maybe a little bit more in everyone's mind, is like tire conservation for Eldora. Everybody always has talked about it, but I think what Jonathan Davenport did in the Dream, it kind of pointed it out even more. He didn't even move up a spot from, I think, like 13th place for the first 22 laps of the Dream. He didn't go to the top where everyone was talking after the race about all those crumbs up there, burning your tires up. He stayed away from it, cooled his jets, went after those crumbs are away, and that way he has tires at the end. So maybe people learned about tire conservation from Jonathan. We'll see.
I want them. The people want them. America wants them. Unload the Kevin Kovac notebook. I know you got it sitting right there. Kevin, unload that notebook pre-World 100 for me.
It is, yeah. Reporter's notebook right there. I just flipped it over. Like one thing that's an interesting note here that I wanted to come up tell you all about is Corey Hedgecock. The Tennessee driver. He's a BMF guy. That's the family chassis. He has a Longhorn chassis now with help from Viper Motorsports.
Kind of weird, right? Yeah.
Last Thursday, Thursday, the day before we're recording this, he's supposed to run it this weekend. He's planning to run it this Labor Day weekend at Bulls Gap and Eldora's Baltus Classic, and then plans to run it in the World 100. Remember, Corey Hedgecock finished 6th last year on the World 100. He had a really good run at Eldora. That was his best one in a crown jewel. So we'll see how that was with a BMF car. See how he does with a Longhorn now. Another one, Joseph Joyner. He just runs the Hillbilly 100 this weekend at the Labor Day weekend with the JCM team that he's kind of working with now that Spencer Hughes used to drive for. But he's going to be back in his capital car, the family car, with a nice orange and white paint scheme for the world.
Looks good.
Kubota.
It looks nice.
Yeah, it looks really cool, real eye-catching. I think that'll be on the racetrack, but he'll be in his capital car. The thing is, Jonathan Joyner. I mess up the Joyners.
Joseph, Joshua, Jonathan, Shadow, Liz. Yeah.
Yes, there's too many Joyners here, but Joseph is the driver. He has 4 straight World 100 DNQs, so he wants to change that, I'm sure, this weekend. We'll see what he can do. And one more for you, Kyle Strickler. He'll be in the AK race cars with Austin Kirkpatrick. He's going to be running that chassis this weekend at the World 100. And Kyle, here's a note on Kyle. He's made the last 5 World 100s. Going back to the double worlds in 2021. He's made all 5. He's one of 9 drivers that's made all 5 of those. So he has a pretty good streak going at the World.
Kyle, also one of the great heartbreaks in Eldora history that year during the no fans event. Still one of the seeing him with his head down after that race. I will not get that image out of my head. Kevin, who wins the World 100? Ben feels confident he's got the pick right. And JD, who wins?
I'm going off the board here a little bit away from the JD. Away from the Bobby Pierce, away from Ricky Thornton winning his first. I'm going with a veteran, Chris Madden. Chris Madden is going to do it. I talked to Chris Madden after the Port Royal second place finish to Ricky Thornton Jr. He had finished second in the top list the week before. He hasn't raced that much this year, but he's gone really well with this Kale Green car. I don't know. I just felt something in Chris Madden talking to him. He's confident. He's entered 42 crown jewel events at Eldora. He started 36 of them. He's got second place finishes, 3 of them in the Dream, 1 of them in the Million, a 3rd in the World. I think it's got to be time for Chris Madden to win it. This is going to be his holy grail. He's finally going to win the World.
That is a bold pick, Kevin Kovac, and I like it very much, buddy. Thank you. We'll see you at the World 100. One of my great friends in life and a man we are happy is on the mend, and we'll be back in the announcer's booth for the World. It wouldn't sound the same without him. It's DJ Dustin Jarrett. DJ, let's start with your World 100 statistic to start the show off, buddy.
Well, I would be, just remiss. They would hate me if I didn't go with my annual Dale McDowell stat that I do, right? Every year for the Dream of the World. And so I dug a little deeper in this one. First off, McDowell has made the world 17 straight times. Think about that. The biggest race in the world, he's made it 17 straight times, including 22 of the last 23. Oh, by the way, in the last 11 straight World 100s, McDowell hasn't finished worse than 8th. It's just,
is that good?
It's incredible. It's incredible what you count the Dream and the World together along with last year's DTWC. McDowell's actually made 24 of the last 25 crown jewels at Eldora. What kind of world are we living in, man? Is he human or what? So there's your annual Dale McDowell stat right there.
He's got to win one of these, though, right? That's the thing. He's got to win one of these, DJ. He's like, I'm tired of hearing all this stuff. We need to win another one of these. The World 100 keeps growing, right? You see the camping sold out, record ticket sales, record 50/50s. If you had told me that in the late 90s or the early to mid 2000s, I'm not sure I would have thought that was possible. But somehow here we are. Still growing as an event. Why do you think that is? Why is this thing still getting bigger after all these years? 55 to be exact.
Well, I'll preface by saying if I knew the exact answer, I'd package that shit up and sell it to every promoter out there, right? Because everybody wants to know that secret formula. But I do have a few ideas. I mean, you hit on it. You hit on a few of them, right? The purse keeps growing. You know, we're up well over $600,000 this year. It's $72,000 to win for the 72nd anniversary of the track, and it's $5,500 just to start this race this year because it's the 55th running. But Eldora's done a lot of other things that's right as well. They add money in places where other tracks and events don't. They've got $10,000 in that Shane Unger Memorial Rookie of the Year deal, which I think keeps things fresh and keeps guys coming to the event. You've got format tweaks that I think help keep the event feeling kind of new as well. You've got the drama. And I mean, if we're being honest, Eldora kind of gets poo-pooed on a lot, it's not great racing or whatever. This race last year had 4 different leaders in 8 lead changes, right? As a matter of fact, I mean, we'll dig into the notes again, but I mean, only one time in the last 22 years has someone led all 100 laps, and that was JD back in 16. So there are a lot of things like that for the drivers that help. That also keeps the fans in tune with it as well, and I honestly think that's why people keep coming back.
DJ, you talked about the format. They introduced this format specifically. They split, you only race one night at the Dream now, but they introduced this format. They'll be running for the World 100 to really great reviews. 2-part question for this. You explain it better than me always. So part 1 of this question is make sure fans understand what the format is. And part 2 of it is, I think you brought up some great points on why this format is awesome when you and I were talking in a private discussion. I want you to share those with the public. So number 1, explain the format to the fans. And number 2, why this format rocks.
I do love the format. So on Thursday and Friday, after the pill draw, the fields are split in half, right? You've got Group A and Group B. They qualify against each other. Each group will run a 3 12-lap shootout. And that's it. The top 8 advance out of those. There's no B mains, praise the Lord. And then each group runs a 25-lap, $12,000 to win feature. So each group qualifies, 3 12-lap shootouts, top 8 transfer, and then 2 24-car features that pay $12,000 to win. Drivers get points every time they're on the track, and then that sets the stage for, of course, those 6 traditional heat races that we love so much on Saturdays. The reason I like it, to answer the second part of your question, is I'm grassroots to the bone, right? And I do a lot to try to support local tracks and weekly events, et cetera. And that's the reason why I love this format. It gives that weekend warrior, that regional hot shoe, it gives them a chance to run maybe a prelim feature. Guys like Matt Dooley, who made one of the prelim features last year. Kovac touched on Corey Hedgecock. He was second on a prelim night last year. Will Harrington, he had 2 top 10s in prelims last year. And in a day and age where maybe we don't see that as much as we used to in some of the crown jewels, I think it's kind of refreshing to see those guys have an opportunity to run well on the biggest stage in the entire world. And that's just, I don't know, that's the reason why I like it.
Who wins the World 100? And just go ahead and say Dale McDowell, and let's move on, DJ.
I don't know if the camera can show my Dirt Draft World 100 Championship trophy that's back here behind me, but I'm pretty good at this, by the way. No, hey, I'm going to go with 3 different picks here. They left the 32 on the table for me. I think he gets it done. I think there's going to be that wee little strip of brown at the top of the racetrack. Here he comes pounding around the outside, and he's going to lead the last, 15 laps or so. Bobby Pierce gets the World 100 win for the 2nd year in a row.
Dale McDowell's feelings are hurt. I just want to let you know that you talk him up, and then you do not pick him to win the race. The 17M will be disappointed, DJ. So thanks, buddy. We'll see you at Eldora.
I see it.
From Kovac to Kyle McFadden, the other great dirt late model reporter in the business, who's been barnstorming the globe to cover everything from the Knoxville Nationals to the Topless 100 and everything in between. Kyle McFadden joins us now. Kyle, I got a fun one for you to start. No secret that while you do a tremendous job covering dirt late model racing for us, your heart and your background, Kyle, you're a Pennsylvania guy, so you're a little bit of a sprint car guy. So I'm going to put you on the spot. Explain to everyone out there before we get to your statistic and make a solid case. Tell these Eldora people, why is the World 100 better than the King's Royal, Kyle? Go.
Yeah, well, first of all, the world, it's 100 laps, right? I have this feeling after the King's Royal, it's just like not, it doesn't leave me satisfied, right? I think we had talked about this too, Michael, like Anthony Macary's win, I covered him a lot in Pennsylvania there. I was happy to see him win, but I just felt like that race was just getting going, right? So I feel like even after the World, even if it goes green for like 100 laps, it could not be the best race of the year. I still feel like I like walk away from it with the sense of like, man, like, hey, hats off to just like JD there for getting it done, or just whomever, right? So, and then second of all, too, the King's Royal, it's the second biggest race of the sprint car season. So the World for us, that's our Super Bowl. It for sure earns that spot for us.
You're going to lose your sprint car card. These sprint car fans are coming after you, Kyle, after that, but we're going to let that set. Now to your statistical question. Give me your World 100 stat. You've heard some good ones so far. What's yours?
Right. Yeah, it's really hard to follow up after those three. But, man, you had started Dirt on Dirt back in 2007. I'm going to throw it back there. Jimmy Owens was the last time to set fast time at the World and win the World.
Wow.
There's been 17 straight Worlds now to where the fast time guy has not won the World. So, and actually there's been more finishes outside the top 20 from guys who have set fast time on Saturday night than guys who have finished inside the top 10. So I feel like that's an interesting one.
That's a really interesting statistic, one that I will be stealing and using on the pre-race show at the World 100. Thank you, Kyle. And just like Kevin, you're so good at your notebook. News and notes, buddy. What do you got?
Well, I feel like a guy that really not a whole lot of people are talking about is Ricky Thornton Jr. this year on half miles. He has 8 of his 14 wins this year are on half miles. He's taking a brand new race card next week. And so he feels really good where he's at. He's been really fast this year, like on the big tracks. He's a guy that won top 5, like at the World, but he's learned a lot about what not to do there. So I feel like he's learned a lot. And so also too, DJ had like touched on it. There's been at least 11 non-touring drivers since 2022 to make the World 100 A main on Saturday night. That's at least a third of the field. So, I mean, that's a pretty impressive chunk of drivers there who aren't your touring guys to make it in on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it's a good one too. Kyle, who's your winner on Saturday for the 55th World 100?
Man, I'm feeling Brandon Shepherd. I think he can get it done. He's another guy too that's flying under the radar. He's been really good on those longer distance races. He was going to win that topless 100 if he didn't probably cut down that tire there. So, but yeah, I like him on Saturday night.
All right, Kyle, I appreciate it, buddy. I will not let the sprint car people attack you for your King's Royal take, okay?
Thanks,
Thank you. Thank you. We finished with the one and only, the Hall of Famer, the Sultan of SWAT, Todd Turner. Todd, first off with a bang, give me your World 100 related statistic.
Well, I know you've always wanted to know who the top 5 finishes among scramble winners are. So no, I'm kidding. I didn't do the scrambles. Me and Kevin were talking about guys that haven't made a World 100, and we kind of dug back through there and found some guys. And this is kind of a sign of futility, so I apologize for pointing these out. But here's a couple of the big numbers we found. Casey Noonan has entered the World 100 16 times without making it.
Wow.
Tim Lance, 15. Shannon Thornsberry, 14. Curtis Roberts, also 14. That just shows you how, those are some quality drivers. It is a tough race to make. And let's hope one of those guys breaks through and gets in this year.
I love that Kyle's upset the sprint car people. The Casey Noonan fans coming for you now after the opening salvo there. You and I have covered what feels like 100 of these World 100s together. And we often talk about how fun or different it kind of is to cover this race. And mainly you and I talk a lot about it because the way the pits are laid out there, right? That front line of haulers right there on the front stretch, it's really kind of the greatest theater, right? It's the greatest stage in all of dirt track racing, more than Knoxville, more than anywhere. That hauler line and that pit line, it's a performance sort of unto itself, especially when you're down there in the throes of it as a reporter. Try to describe what it's like down there on pit road and kind of what makes that so special and so unique and in that environment at Eldora.
I mean, it really is electric. I mean, every time I go out of the press room, I almost always walk that way. Even if the cars aren't lining up or whatever, there's just a little bit of a buzz around there. Many of the top teams line up there. And in all honesty, when they are lining up and stuff, you see nervous crew members, you see nervous drivers, you see those guys sweating it out or looking or making sure or seeing that somebody else picked a different tire and all that kind of thing. It is really, I think that's a great description, theater of all that. And then for photographers, I mean, I loved taking photos there because you got game faces all around. It's certainly, and the fact that most of the stands there on the front stretch can watch all that too when that drama is going on, whether it's a pit stop or guys lining up or somebody coming in after a problem or whatever. It's electric. That's the best way to describe it. I love it. A lot of times you can't hear because it's so loud. There's engines rumbling. But just to walk along and make eye contact with people, you really get a sense of what's going on down there. It's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Random World 100 memories, Todd. Just give us a few of your long storied career. Give us some random World 100 memories that you've got. They could be the biggest thing in the world, the smallest thing in the world, whatever you got. I don't care.
The very first World 100 I saw was Billy Moyer's first win, and I sat up on the grass there. And then that day, the guys would lap a lot of people. And so it was kind of weird to see compared to today how that worked back then. But it was the first time I was kind of taking in Eldora. I mean, who knows how many times I've been back there since then. But that really is entrenched in my memory. Probably of the winners, the biggest one is just Berghofer's win with that last lap pass. And I've told this story before. I was in the infield shooting, and I was literally down in turn 1 and 2, so I didn't see anything. But the sound of the crowd is unforgettable to me. It kind of gives me chills just thinking about it. It was like so dramatic, and I knew exactly what had happened without even seeing it. And then also, this is a bad memory for us, Michael. I don't know, our first Dirt on Dirt World 100 where the site was having problems. And I remember coming up on the shooter's platform, and when you look over and saw me, you knew it wasn't. But we held on, and Dirt on Dirt made it. But that first World 100 was a little touch and go for a while there.
Do you remember that Berghofer World 100? There was a 19-year-old reporter helping you cover it for National Dirt Digest. Do you remember that young, handsome reporter and going through the pits with him after the races? Who that was?
Yeah, and the hours and hours I spent editing that race story. I do remember.
I think back about that, like thinking I was good, but then I would get your redo of the story and be like, oh man, I got a long way to go. So, Todd, news and notes for the World 100. What do you got?
I just got a couple little things. Tanner English has a new crew chief with Donnie Tidwell joining them. He was recently with Cody Overton. Tanner lost I guess his dad kind of has been his crew chief, who is certainly worthy, but he just lost another guy, Kevin Minos, that had to leave the team. So Tanner can use another crew guy on there. Donnie certainly has traveled around with lots of teams and knows his stuff. I noticed on the entry list, Dylan Cohn, guy, Jeff Cohn, his dad was a big Michigan racer. He's going to be making his first trip to Eldora. He only has a couple of top fives at Crystal, so I don't think he's a guy that's going to be knocking the door of making the race, maybe. But hey, you got to start somewhere at Eldora, and it's neat to see those second generation guys. And then I get a couple of potential first time starters for you. I kind of like. Dustin Nobby is one of them. You know, he ran well at Florence there. Jaden Frame is another one. Those two guys, I would say, keep an eye on them.
Surely we're not going to get all the way through the winners picks without somebody, especially you, picking Dale McDowell to win this World 100. Are we going over 5? No Dale McDowell pick. You tell me right now.
Hang on, I got to text Dale. Hang on a second and ask him if it's okay. I got to go with Jonathan Davenport. I think he has the smoothest path to victory, and I would love to see a showdown with him and Pierce, and maybe McDowell right in there. But I got to go with JD.
Yeah, it's just hard to pick against him, right? I mean, he's got the Eldora car. What, Todd? 6 globes. What if the guy had 6 globes after Saturday? I mean, that's. Did you ever think anyone would tie Moyer, let alone probably pass him one day?
No, it's hard to believe. It's happened so fast. I think that's what's the most impressive with JD in these last 11 years. Unbelievable.
Todd, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. I'll see you at Eldora, okay? Thank you,
Take
as
care.
always, to our entire editorial and on-air team for that. That's our 18th year in a row doing that, and now our 19th World 100 Media Roundtable. I think they say if you do something 3 years in a row, it's officially a tradition. So we've sailed way past that. 3 years is a tradition. We're on our 19th version. And as long as I am here, we will always do that. Time for a quick commercial break. When we return, it's Bobby Pierce and more from Todd Turner in a graphic form on really some cool numbers surrounding the World 100. You're watching the preview video cast. We are back after this.
The Rocket Ship launches tonight at Barber City and wins the 13th edition of the Illini 100.
And his name in the history books. New Waverly, Texas, Tyler Erb is a Little Bill Corum Memorial winner. Off turn number 12, the final time, and it is Greg Sarah for the second night in a row.
The Hawkeye Land 40 goes to Brandon Jeffers.
In the market for custom race shirts? Struggling with who to call? Look no further. Impact Race Gear's team of top-notch artists at Next Level Printing make it easy to see that Impact Race Gear has the right combination for simply awesome race shirts. We provide shirts and merchandise for the entire motorsports industry, from late models to sprint cars to modifieds, dirt or asphalt. Just take a look at the top drivers and teams that trust Impact. And it doesn't take long to understand why Impact Race Gear is the easy choice. Be sure that your fans, sponsors, and supporters get the products they deserve. When you need the best, it's gotta be Impact Race Gear. Give us a call, 877-743-8337, or visit ImpactRaceGear.com to get started on your simply awesome race shirts.
From the track to the trail, from your everyday cars and trucks to championship-winning vehicles, iBlock has you covered. Race, lift, lower, high-performance suspension for all. iBlock, the #1 choice of champions. Proudly made in the USA, engineered to win.
Door for the lead in the 40th annual World 100. Dale McDowell on the outside. Billy Moyer on the inside. This time by at the stripe, Billy Moyer from 23rd up to first. Who's it going to be? Will Moyer get his 6th World 100 crown? He's clean and green through turns 1 and 2 into 3 and 4 for the final time. The winner of the 40th annual World 100, Billy Moyer.
It was once unthinkable that anyone would touch Billy Moyer's record of 6 World 100s. That was Billy's last one. But the guy who is really now the undisputed king of Eldora with his career resume, Jonathan Davenport, could do it this year. When the World 100 ends and that last piece of confetti falls, will JD have matched Moyer and have number 6? That's something that will weigh heavy over the cornfields of Rossburg, Ohio all weekend long. We know we just heard from Todd Turner, but he's got a lot more to contribute to this video cast. I got to thinking about Moyer and JD and all these guys. I wanted to look at all-time World 100 lap leaders at Eldora, a minimum 100 laps led. So here are the guys who have led at least 100 laps in the history of the World 100. No doubt, Billy Moyer and Jonathan Davenport, who have combined for 11 World 100 victories, are tops. Moyer at 473, JD at 374. Scott Bloomquist, of course, 4 Globe trophies at 338. Donnie Moran, Larry Moore, kind of your typical guys there. I'd say probably the biggest heartbreaker on there is that Shannon Babb down there at 166 laps led. Of course, remember he was light at the scales and got disqualified that year. Also, the number of races that these guys have led. Moyer not only won 6 World 100s, he had the lead in 11. 7 for JD, 8 for Scott, 4 for Donnie, and then again, that heartbreaking number for Shannon Babb. He led in 3 separate World 100s. He's the only one on that left column to have led a World 100 and never come away with a World 100 victory. On the right side, you see Patrick, Floyd Gilbert, Steve Francis led in 2 World 100s and won one in 1999. Davey Johnson also led in 3 different World 100s and never got a victory. Dan Schlieper, he led 1 World 100 and he won 1 World 100 in dominating fashion that year as he led all 100 laps. I just thought that was a really, really interesting statistic. And of course, Bobby Pierce, who's going to join us in a second, 150 laps led. A few more World 100 notes. Active drivers with 5 or more top 5 finishes. So guys that are racing now with 5 or more top 5 finishes. Dale McDowell, Billy Moyer, Jimmy Owens, JD, and Tim McCready. Not a guy who runs especially great at Eldora, has a World 100 win, but not necessarily a place he loves. He's got 6 top 5s. The driver with the longest stretch between World 100 starts, how about this? Dick Phillips, 1984, and then made the race again in 2016 years in between starts for Diamond Dick Phillips. And rebound, among multiple World 100 winners, Brian Burkhofer, Larry Moore, and Billy Moyer won after failing to make the pre-race the previous year. So only those 3 guys didn't make it the year before and then won the next year. Of the 357 drivers to start the World 100, 154 made a single start. And among the top 10 in World 100 earnings since 2000, Brandon Overton is the only driver with fewer than 10 starts. And lastly, Todd mentioned him earlier, since 2000, Casey Noonan has entered the most World 100s, 16 without cracking the starting field. Thank you so much to Todd Turner for those amazing statistics. Well, he may not have 6 Globes, but I think we can all agree that he's likely the best dirt late model driver in the country right now. He's bumping up on 30 victories again this year, is white hot as we head into the fall, and just happens to be the defending World 100 winner, the driver of the 32 car from Oakwood, Illinois, and a guy that I say, and boy do I get heat for this, a guy that I say is the most talented dirt late model driver to ever hold a steering wheel. I say Scott Bloomquist may be the best ever, but the guy with the most talent ever is the guy joining me. Power flex, by the way, with the globe over his right shoulder, which I love. Bobby Pierce joins us now. Bobby, let's just start there. I know you've heard me say that because your mom has brought it up to me before, and I don't expect you to be like, yeah, man, I totally agree. I'm the baddest MFer who's ever lived. I know you're not going to say this now on the air, but at the age of 28, that I could be saying that about you now, that you are the greatest talent to ever hold the steering wheel to do this. What is your honest reaction to that?
I mean, it's an impossible scale to measure from, honestly. I mean, you go look at the graphics you were just showing of all the stats in the past. Like, there's been lots of greats to do it. I'm just glad to be in that conversation. We've had lots of some really good years the last few years. So hopefully we can just keep it going, and maybe someday I can be like Billy Moyer and get 6 Globes or more.
You're chasing JD now too, right? We're going to talk about JD in a second. I'm skipping a question on my list. So many people are coming into this like, man, 32 and 49. We want a 32 and 49 showdown. We want a 32 and 49 showdown. It does kind of feel like you two are the favorites coming into this weekend, right? He's so good at Eldora. You've become so good at Eldora. I don't know, from my perspective, Bobby, it feels like it's shaping up to be a 32 and 49 showdown at the World 100. Am I right about that, do you think?
Yeah. I mean, man, he's always so fast there. Like, whenever people, ask me, are you ready for Eldora? Are you going to...
Jarvis, listen to Jarvis in the background, by the way. I love it. That dog's got separation anxiety, folks at home.
You didn't know I was doing this. But, yeah, I think that's what a lot of people think is, me and JD are probably going to be there at least some point in the race, hopefully be up towards the front. He's just so fast there. You hear it every year for the last so many years, right? The 49 car is so fast in Eldora, and he's just got a good setup there. And he, certain tracks fit drivers, and that track definitely fits them. For me, I think, we've made big gains around Eldora since, I kind of felt stagnant in a way in my Pierce car. Then when we got the Longhorn going, my last couple of starts there, we got a win at the World, and then a win at Dirt Track World Championship, and then we were second at the Dream this year, and that was after having the flat tire. And so I don't know. Hopefully we can just keep that streak going of really good finishes. If you put yourself in position, to run up front so many times, the wins then should come. So if we can just be fast like we normally are there, I don't know, man. It's funny because JD's got that middle line and I kind of got the top line going. It's good. Both fast in different ways, so that normally produces good racing. If both cars are going to be fast in the same lane, then it might not be as good.
I still think, and I think that you do too, at this point as we sit here, Bobby, in August of 2025, that Scott Bloomquist is still the greatest dirt late model driver of all time. But I think one thing that you have in common with him is the fact that you're polarizing, right? I don't know that you're as polarizing as Scott was. That was probably a whole nother level. No one will ever get to that level of booze. You get booze, but you don't get the Scott Bloomquist level of booze. But you're at least in like the same fairway as he was. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people have started to react to you the way that they kind of started to react to Scott? From your perspective, why do you think that is?
You win races and people don't like it. I mean, it's not like they don't like it. I think people are tired of seeing the same car winning. That comes down to a lot of it. It's just like I compare a lot of things in racing to sports. Like, Patrick Mahomes, people loved him that first year, and then it's like a lot of people don't like him. And then Tom Brady, you saw that effect with Tom Brady after he won so many Super Bowls. It was like people couldn't stand him. But then when he retires, it's like, oh, the GOAT, then you got to respect it. But no, just, we've had some good runs at lots of big races. And, also I'm a bit aggressive behind the wheel. So, you kind of throw that in the mix. And then, I don't like to toot my own horn, but at a young age, I got pretty good, pretty fast. And, my first World 100 when I was 16, I led laps of it and ran fourth. So, just being good at a young age, there was a lot of people that I think when I raced against, when I was growing up, obviously no one knew that I would eventually, have the career I'm having. But, at a young age, when I was beating these guys that had raced forever, they didn't like it. But I mean, hey, you look at it now and I guess I was going to be pretty good. So
you could never go full villain. Like Scott was so good at it. Like, I'm going to go full villain. Like he knew like I'm going to be, you couldn't go full villain, right? Like, I'm not sure that's your personality to be full villain like Scott, right?
Personality. I mean, I feel like Scott really, he went with that, and he was fine with it. I'm just not that kind of guy where I don't mind being like a bit polarizing, a bit, stirring up some drama here and there. Like I said, I'll drive aggressively to get the win. And, you have friends, but at the racetrack, you don't have friends. When it's race time, it's all business. So I do what I got to do to get the job done out there. And sometimes people don't like that.
If I see you show up with a beret like Scott did back in the day, I know the transition has begun. If you show up, your dad will remember the beret that Scott used to wear. Let's flip to Eldora. What's really kind of nuts about your story there is that, yes, you're the defending champion, and yes, you've been really the best driver in the country for 2 or 3 years to now. But, it was 9 years since your first World 100 win. It was all the way back in 2016 when you were 18 years old. It's almost bizarre when you look at your Eldora career that you had that gap in there. You won one so early, and then it took you a while to win another one. That doesn't happen at Eldora very often. Do you think about that sometimes, Bobby? Like, that's kind of a weird Eldora gap. The Bloomquists and the Moyers and those guys, they rattled them off sort of all in a row, and you had that gap in there, which is kind of strange a little bit.
Yeah, it was a pretty long gap there. I don't know. Like, I didn't really expect to win it that year back in 2016. Obviously, we were, like I said, my first World, I led some laps, I always remember saying, like, if I had more experience when I won that first World 100, I was 19 years old. When I led laps of that first 100, I was 16.
Yeah.
If I had the experience now, I feel like I definitely could have won that race. So that sucks. And then I won it in 2013 was the first World. I'm getting my dates mixed up here. In 2016, I won it. And then, I had a long 8-year gap until I won another one. But, I mean, it's the World 100. Like, you're not going to make the race every year, and you're definitely not going to win it every year. So it's the hardest race to win. It's the hardest, one of the hardest races to win. You got the invert on Saturday for the heat races. You can be the fastest car on Thursday and Friday, and you can get kind of screwed on Saturday. So, there's just lots of things that go into it that, like, it's tough.
There's no family in our sport who oozes dirt late model racing more than the Pierces. Your dad and you and your mother, your uncle Will, who I think Will told me he's never missed a World 100. He's literally attended every World 100 ever. So shout out to Uncle Will for that. Answer this very simply. What does the World 100 mean to the Pierce family?
Oh, man. To my dad, Eldora is very special. I know he always talks about Earl. They had a great friendship, and he's told me some stories back in the day. And, Earl just sounds like a great guy. Obviously I'd met Earl several times as well. Obviously didn't know him way back in the day, but Eldora's just history, man. Like, the World 100 is so much history for dirt late model racing. It is obviously, it's got to be our Super Bowl in a way. It's definitely our biggest crown jewel, just prestige. A lot of people ask, like, oh, it doesn't pay the most. Well, yeah, it doesn't pay the most, but it holds the most prestige. And I remember going there when I was a little kid to watch my dad, obviously, till I was about 6 years old. That was probably the last time I saw him race there, 6 or 5. But I'd be there in the stands, falling asleep while they were qualifying on Friday night. They qualified all night. Be a little kid falling asleep up there. And man, just been going there forever. I would go there for the fall nationals to watch the modifieds. And, I've been to many World 100s before. I think I went to about every single World 100, even before I started racing the World 100. So, lots of history.
Is that right that your Uncle Will has never missed one? I think that's accurate. Do you know that to be true?
I would say, yeah, it's got to be true.
It's pretty. We talked about JD quickly. I just want to ask you this. What makes him so good at Eldora? And have you been able to learn anything from him, watching him? Because I know you've been behind him several times. Why is he so good there? And have you learned anything from him there?
Yeah, for sure. You learn a lot whenever you can follow the fast car, the fastest car on the track. You can learn a lot, whether that's, he's doing something different than I'm doing, and now it's making me better, or you can try it and realize, wow, my car can't do that. Maybe it's me, but sometimes it's a humbling experience following him around there for sure. But then you got to try other things to make it work. But I think just like other guys too. See like Dale McDowell. He's really good there. Specific lines that other people aren't, and you can definitely learn some stuff.
I want to roll back to the Dream. I had Ricky Thornton Jr. put on his analyst hat. He was my guest for the Dream preview. And I said, pretend you're Ben Shelton and break down the dirt late model Dream. I want to play a clip now of what Ricky said prior to the Dream. Go ahead and play that. Final quick Eldora question. Pretend you're Ben Shelton or Dustin Jarrett this weekend. Let's just me and you. Like I'm throwing to you, Ricky, and like you're a reporter for me this weekend. It's early in the night, and I say, Ricky, it's Saturday night before the start of Dirt Late Model Dream 31. Who are the guys to watch tonight, Ricky Thornton? Who are you answering with? Pretend to be Ben Shelton for a second.
The guy I'm watching tonight is going to be the 11 car out of Kentucky, and Josh Rice. He's been really good around the top here. The last couple of times he's been really good around the bottom here. He's got a lot of a lot of momentum coming into Eldora, so he's my dark horse to win this tonight.
All right, so not bad, right? Fast forward later that week, Josh Rice wins $30,000 and gets the biggest win of his career. All right, so let's try to match the 20 RT here, Bobby. Put your analyst hat on. Try to what are we going to be looking for at the World 100 weekend? Tell me some things we're going to be watching for.
I wish you would have asked me first, because that would have been my answer. When we were just, Josh Rice was also in mind. He can get her done up there, running the cushion just as good as anybody. But dark horse, I mean, I don't know if this definitely is not a dark horse, but he's never won, to my knowledge. He's never won. I think he won a prelim night, maybe 2 prelim nights, but I'd probably have to go Devin Moran. But that's not quite dark horse enough. So let's go. Man, who else we got out there? Trying to think of guys that don't really run a tour. Man, I don't know.
I put you on the spot.
Chris Ferguson. That's a good one.
I like that. All right, here we go. Fast forward. We may be doing the same thing. Bobby has said Chris Ferguson. Right now I see you. I see JD, I see RTJ, I see Devin, I see Huddy, I see a lot of really talented dirt late model drivers. And man, our old hat's going to roast me for this. We always heard the Bloomquist Moyer Moran era was the best ever. I honestly kind of wonder, is this the best era competition-wise of dirt late model racing ever? You, Devin, JD, Huddy. Am I right about that? And would your dad say we're crazy if we said that? I kind of think right now, Bobby, might be the most competitive era ever in this sport. Am I right about that, or am I nuts?
No, I think you're right for sure. Yeah. It's so competitive. I know obviously as history goes on, times change, and I've never got to race against, a lot of the guys like my dad raced against, but I also did get the chance to race against a bunch of them. When I came into it, I did start racing against Don O'Neill, Daryl Lanigan, Josh Richards. The list goes on and on. A lot of the people that were from my childhood anyways, that I remember growing up watching late model racing when I was really little, those guys were almost all of them. It seems like we're still racing. I race against Scott, Billy, of course, Billy still races, but I got those moments while I was starting to get better where I did get to go, nose to nose with those guys out there on the track and beat them sometimes. So that was pretty cool. I remember the first time I got to beat Billy Moyer, and that was neat. But just nowadays, it's so tough. For example, when you go out to qualify, you for real don't know if you're going to be third row, fourth row over heat race. Just on a typical, say, Lucas Oil World Outlaw night, whatever, you don't know if you're going to be third row heat race or if you're going to be front row. So it's just very tight. I feel like the minimal, just little errors here and there can cost you a lot now.
Yeah. And I feel like technology, you guys are all the same, right? You guys all have incredibly similar stuff, right?
Right. That's kind of what I'm trying to say is you bring up a good point. Everything is so the same. Everyone's cars are so similar, especially now. I mean, you kind of got Longhorn. Half the field out there, probably over half the field is a Longhorn car. We've all got about the same stuff on it. So yeah, in a way, it comes down to the little fine details of what you do to your setup, because that can make a huge difference. If you're a little off back at the shop, it's going to show on the weekend, or then if the driver's a little off too. So it's just very tight. It's very tight.
As we get close to wrapping up here, I've got some Eldora quick hitters for you. Okay, some quick hitting Eldora questions. First one, I've got a few Eldora traditions I like to do myself that I do every time I go. I've been going every year since 1992. I've not missed a World 100. For instance, before I leave the property on Saturday night, I go sit in my seats that my family has had forever since the early 90s. Grandstand's emptied out. I like to go sit there, empty grandstand, say goodbye to Eldora. Do you have any Eldora traditions like that? Any things you do every time you go to the track?
I mean, I always go get a pizza burger. That's one of them.
That's a good one.
I don't really have a lot of traditions there, I guess. No, not really.
Your fiance Abby I'm just going to say this. I think she's brought you out of your shell a little bit on social media. She's done a phenomenal job, right? You guys are crushing it on social media. Do we have any special World 100 social media planned? Is she already thinking about that stuff?
Come on. Yeah. No, we've got a very special wrap. The car looks awesome. It's definitely this is the toughest, most challenging wrap by far that I've done. So definitely look forward to that. It looks good. I'm not done with it yet. When I get off here, I'm gonna go finish it. I'll probably have it done sometime this weekend. But so yeah, we'll be doing some stuff for that, and then of course she's the Eldora girl there, so she'll be doing lots of stuff for Eldora. But as far as my pages and stuff, yeah, we need to start getting on it because it's getting close.
It is getting. Are you racing this weekend, Labor Day, by the way, or no? Are you taking the weekend off? Okay, I thought so. All right, a couple other quick ones here. Do you have a spot around Eldora that you like? Like Abby's always out at coffee shops, and I always see her at the same coffee shop every year, by the way. Do you have a favorite spot, whistle stop, or anything that you go to outside the racetrack?
Yeah. Heck, I don't even know what town it is that we stay in, but just when we get to go to the hotel, because I never really got that experience. You know,
yeah.
Late model racers don't really get that experience a lot of us anyways, you know, unlike sprint cars, you know, those guys get to leave the track every night. But as much as I love Eldora, I love getting to just escape the track at night and go stay somewhere else. Cause, well, I mean, they also have us packed in like sardines there in the infield or wherever you park. So, you know, it's nice to just get away from the loud generators and, yeah, just honestly anywhere outside of the track. Cause kind of like turning off the switch, and then when you're back to the track, you're fresh, ready to go. Yeah, I like that.
Last one, I like this one. If you could race any other kind of car at Eldora, what would you pick?
Honestly, I wouldn't probably actually race it, but like a wingless sprint car would be pretty badass if the track conditions were right. Like I've seen some videos where it's really slick and it's got like just a little bit of a dusty, somewhat cushion up there on the wall. And those guys are just sliding around. That looks a lot of fun. But I always wanted to race a modified at Eldora, like back when the Fall Nationals would be there, UMP Fall Nationals. Surprised I never did.
All right, one final question, and we'll see how the NASCAR folks take this question. I want to end on this. I say this all the time. My one big issue with NASCAR is that unlike any other professional sports league in the United States, NASCAR is the only one where I think, Bobby, we don't know if the guys that race on Sunday are the best in the world at what they do. We don't have that debate in the NFL, in the NBA, and Major League Baseball. We know if you're starting linebacker for the Baltimore Ravens, you're one of the best in the world. We don't know that in NASCAR. I firmly believe in my heart that you are as talented or more talented behind the wheel of a race car than 50% of the guys who race professionally on Sunday. Now, don't get me wrong. Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, yeah, those guys are elite. The rest of them, I think you are as good, if not better than most of them. Because it bums me out, does it bum you out at all that NASCAR is seen by the public as the superior brand of motorsports in America, and that many of those guys get paid millions of dollars, when in all reality, Bobby, I think what you do, or even Justin Grant or Brad Sweet or Corey Day, is flat out harder than what those guys do on Sunday. It bums me out. I'd like to know if it bums you out.
Well, I've got a little bit of experience in that world. Obviously, I raced like 8 NASCAR Truck Series races, or 9, 6 of them on asphalt. So I kind of got a little taste of that world, and I will say, like, what they do is super tough. But, you know, when you do say, like, okay, you know, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen are the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Yeah, they are, and they're the best football players in the world, really, as far as American football goes. But racing NASCAR and racing dirt cars, in my opinion, are so totally different. It's like you're talking 2 different sports. So as doing both, like when I did race some NASCAR stuff, when I got back in my dirt late model, I was so much more comfortable, and it felt like things slowed down. I mean, so I think you're right in the sense of like, I think our talent field is probably more, if not matching it, but you know, there's a lot of drivers in NASCAR that are like, they're there for a reason. And then there's some there just because maybe they had a pocketbook or whatever. But I think it also just goes like, it's two different sports in a way. Like one of my really good friends, Tyler Reddick, you know, he obviously raced late models a lot back in the good old Summer National days. You know, me and him, we both ran the Hell Tour in 2013. And like, I think he won one race that year, but like, I think he's a better asphalt driver. And you see him, he's really good. And I just think there's certain things, like, I don't think I would make a good asphalt driver, but I think I make a good dirt driver. So I just think it's in a way two different sports. Now you got your guys like Kyle Larson, he can make it work in both. And that's why he is very at the top. And you mentioned some other guys too, but I don't know. It's tough to say, but experience goes a long way in both. I feel like if I would have started racing asphalt, then I feel like I could have been there just as well as I am here in the dirt world. But dirt's what I grew up watching. That's what I grew up liking. I wasn't really a big asphalt fan. It didn't intrigue me. So like, it's hard to be good at something that you don't really enjoy. But if you enjoy it, it's a lot easier to be good at it. So
I'll accept that answer, but I still think I'm right. I still think what you do is harder. So I'll accept that answer, but I still am going to go on record and say that I'm right about this. Bobby Pierce is already a two-time World 100 winner. We'll be looking for a third very soon at the most famous half mile in the world. Bobby, thanks for hopping on, buddy. Good luck with that wrap. I am very intrigued now by what this wrap is. Thank you so much for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. We're going to take another commercial break, and I talked to Bobby about Scott Bloomquist. I've got a visual representation of where they are at this moment in their career coming up. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be back after this.
At Buzzy Racing, it's all blood, sweat, and gears because we're racers first.
We're a family business, but more than that, we build what we'd race.
Steering boxes, transmissions, rear ends. If it goes under the race car, we build it.
Buzzy Racing.
Family owned,
track proven.
Built by racers for racers.
The fastest growing name in the motorsports industry is the Racers brand of safety gear and apparel. Winners wear K1.
Hosky's Performance Parts has been serving the Ohio River Valley and racers from all across the country since 1978. Hosky's is also the home to Hoosier Tire Ohio Valley and Octane Race Products. We keep the popular name brands in stock and ship nationwide daily, including Winners Performance, Willwood Brakes, Bilstein Shocks, Impact Safety Equipment, along with hundreds of others. Visit us in Parkersburg, West Virginia, or online at Hosky.com.
Going to be temporary because Bobby Pierce has got it going up top.
He's up on the high side, and Herb leads that time, and here comes Pierce to the outside. Wheel to wheel for the race lead in the World 100 from 22nd to first. You've got a new leader. It's Bobby Pierce. Into turn 3 and off of turn 4. He is smooth, and it's going to happen. The smooth operator wins the 46th annual World 100. Bobby Pierce does it.
Earl, I love you! For you, baby, for you!
Hard to believe that it's been 9 years ago already when a then 18-year-old Bobby Pierce brought home his first Globe Trophy. People talk a lot about him being, on this Scott Bloomquist-like trajectory. So I thought, let's stack them up at the age of 28. And Todd Turner did just that. Here's Scott Bloomquist and Bobby Pierce through their age 28 seasons. So I'm going to I got some caveats for this, but I want to show this first. Late model wins, Bobby at 296, Scott at 241. They got the same amount of World 100 wins. World 100 top 5, Scott's got him by 1. Age of the first World 100 win, Bobby got one a little bit younger at 918. He was 19 years old. I threw Summer Nationals titles on here simply because that was about the only common thing that they had run. Obviously, I know the Summer Nationals then and the Summer Nationals now are not exactly the same thing. And I put Summer Nationals victories on there as well. Listen, I get it. Those are not exactly apples to apples. The reason I didn't put Crown Jewel victories on here is because, quite candidly, Crown Jewels, there's so many more of them now. And Bobby's racing so many more times than Scott was. So this isn't me saying, hey, he is Scott Bloomquist at the age of 28. I mean, he does have 50-plus more victories. That is impressive. They've matched World 100 wins. It's just probably the most direct apples-to-apples comparison. But there's so many more Crown Jewels now. There's so many more races that Bobby can run now. So I'm kind of tilting that in Scott's favor by mentioning those things. But I do think this is an interesting graphic to look at. Through their age 28 seasons, here's where these two are. And it's not that far off. I do think it's very conceivable that Bobby Pierce's career could end in looking a lot like Scott Bloomquist, or that when Bobby's career ends very well, he could be Scott Bloomquist. So I know that may sound crazy, but I wanted to show those statistics about where we are through the age of 28 to kind of draw that out a little bit. Every night of the World 100, we will have a pre- and post-race show down from the infield, and the man that anchors that coverage with me is a guy who the entire dirt late model community has just fallen in love with, Randy Weaver, who will once again be back with us at Eldora, and he joins me now. This guy is busy, so it's hard to get him on the line. I got him in a Buc-ee's parking lot right now. You never know where you're going to get Randy. I got him in a Buc-ee's parking lot. Randy, before we get to my first question for you, that Bloomquist Bobby Pierce graphic I just showed, I know things are different that time versus this time, but I don't know. It's kind of impressive what the 32 has done through the age of 28 so far.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And we've, a lot of people say, man, that Bobby's been good this year and last year. If you look at it, the last 4 years, he's been really, really killing it. And just a few little things kept him from being, the number one driver in the country. But if you look at what he does, jumps from World of Outlaw Series to Lucas, it doesn't matter. He just keeps on being very impressive, and then to see those stats to line up against the best of all times, I never realized it was like that. So he's ahead of the game even more than what I thought. And to do it today, I know you talked about there's more Crown Jewels or bigger races, and that's true, but you still got to go win those things against some of the best technology teams on the planet. So to do that week in, week out, that's pretty impressive.
Randy, what are you paying attention to most, do you think, as we head into the World? As we kind of head into Rosberg and you and I are sitting there and we're getting ready to have that first pre-race show, what do you think's highest on your mind as we head into Eldora?
A couple of things I've kind of picked up on this week. We've been testing a little bit around home here with Cameron, and I've already heard some car owners that's looking at Eldora, as they always do, the biggest race of the year, but also trying to line up the shootout there for the Lucas points. And everything has changed. Like, who would ever use Eldora as basically a test deal for the series championship? But that, and then also the Ricky Thornton, being super fast, determined, all kinds of talent. Everybody knows this about him, but Eldora hasn't been his best place. So I think he's got more going into there to not only prove something to himself and try to get that first World 100, but also just to have a better notebook for when he has to come back for the Lucas Oil finale.
There's always something technical at Eldora that teams are talking about. Like, I get there on that first day and somebody says, well, it's the tires, it's the shocks, it's the da-da-da. This year, what do you think it is this year, our guys? And you do such a good job on our broadcast of breaking down technology. Is there any one thing that jumps out over the others? And Kovac mentioned tire wear, and JD saving tires more than guys normally did back at the Dream. Is there anything on the technology or cars front that's jumping out, or tires or anything more than anything else as we head into Eldora?
Well, one thing I've seen there where they're not allowing the right rear 2 tire this time, so that saves a lot of prepping as far as just mounting, grooving, getting another set of tires ready, and then also that takes one more element out of the guessing game. So it's kind of getting everybody more evened up, but it's going to be back to the same thing as JD's really, really good at conserving tires. He also likes the older style tire, and that everybody probably don't have. And so there's been a lot of stuff in the works before it gets close to Eldora to make sure you've already got your game plan and what your driver and team likes. But as far as the cars itself, the shock technology just keeps growing and growing and changing, actually monthly. And so there's some new stuff out there that I think is going to be interesting to see who's on it and who isn't. And then it'll be interesting to see if there's some rules come out after that. So that'll be something interesting to watch once we get there and kind of see what's going on.
That's good stuff. I'm gonna let Ben Shelton and you save that for the broadcast when we get up there. But that's interesting. Some of that shock stuff that we'll want to keep an eye on. I'm guessing since you've started working all these Eldora shows with us, in fact, I know this happens, drivers come up to you and say, hey, you need to talk about this, or you need to ask so-and-so about this, or you need to talk about that. Randy, you need to do that. What do you think is the most, does that in fact happen? In fact, I know it does. You don't have to answer that. But what do they want you to say the most? What's the one thing drivers are always trying to get you to talk about the most on air?
Well, first of all, it's all your buddies and the people that used to race with you. Everybody wants a shout out. And so I try to explain to them we can't get into that, or we'd have to do a week show of doing that. So the other thing is the racers back home, or maybe more on a regional deal, they would like for me to get more in depth on with the teams, basically trying to see what they do, like the tire, even from tire grooving to setup wise. It's all about load numbers and 3-inch numbers and what bumps and what bump springs, and I'm just not that guy. Even if I did know all that, I'm the guy that thinks you ought to lose by yourself and win by yourself. You figure it out, and then when you figure it out, nobody else knows it. But it's really interesting, though. I've been fortunate enough to be with a lot of good people and win a lot of races in my career, and then to even win $100,000 race, that it's still people comes up to me in our area in Tennessee and they're like, man, I see you on Flow, I watch you, I'm glad you're on there. It used to be I seen you win a race, and now it's all about technical and tech tips and all that they really enjoy, and it just shows that they're interested in our sport and they're hungry to know more besides the 32 car one or the 20 RT one, or they want to know what makes that thing go around. And it's really amazing how much feedback I get and questions when I'm away from Eldora.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who wins the 55th World 100? Let's pick a winner right now, Randy.
Right now, I've looked at the weather, and we're going to have some Flow hoodies up there, but anytime it's damp like that, you can't count the 32 out, but it'd be 49 or 32.
Really going out on a limb there, huh?
Hey, you said pick the winner. You didn't say pick who you'd want to win.
That's a good point. Well, Randy, I just wanted to get some thoughts for you before next weekend. We appreciate you joining us from the Buc-ee's parking lot. I know you're bouncing around all your businesses. I will see you at Eldora Thursday, buddy. Thank you.
It sounds good. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you. Don't forget, if you want to watch the World 100 live, there is only one place to do that. That's right here at FloRacing every night, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, every single lap. And also don't forget, we have so much more programming coming up on Flow. It's a big weekend for us. Not only do we have the World 100, but the massive high limit event at Port Royal, the Tuscarora 50, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well. Just one of the crown jewels in sprint car racing, the Tusky from, from Port Royal this weekend. Excuse me, take a drink of water there. And I wanted to look ahead all the way deeper in the year. We've got the Turkey Night Grand Prix for USAC and our great friends, Thanksgiving weekend, and Gateway and Snowball on the same weekend, the Gateway Dirt Nationals and the Snowball Derby as well. So thank you so much to everybody who made this video cast possible, our entire media roundtable team, with a special nod to Todd Turner. Producer Jeff Burba for the first time joining us, who put this video cast together. Thank you very much. Nice job, sir. Simply stated, this is the most important week of the year in dirt late model racing. Period. It is not up for debate. This is the most important week. I will fight you if you say otherwise. There's other big money races galore, and there's other higher paying races, but I will finish the show the same way I started it. This is home. Eldora and the World 100 is home for all of us, and nobody ever forget that. For FloRacing, I'm Michael Rigsby. We will see you soon at the 55th Annual World 100.